All right, we're gonna try to go through bulk loading here real quick with a it's a Watson bulk loader dealy bobber. We're gonna take a look at bulk loading here today. You're gonna need a bulk loader, empty film spool, and today I'm gonna be using Scotch tape. I usually like to use artist tape, but I don't have that with me, so I'm just gonna use Scotch to put the film onto the spool, and then some painter's tape just to label it and we know what's loaded on the spool. Scissors to cut your tail and cut your film off the reel. So this guy is pretty standard loader. You'll, in a dark bag or a changing bag, a dark room or a changing bag, you'll pop this cover off, load your 100-foot roll of film in there, feed the tail into this compartment, and then you can screw this cover back on. This is a nut that pulls this whole piece off like that. And this has got a little cutout in it, so you can open it for when you're loading film and then close it, so it makes this compartment, this compartment light tight, and you can open this, which is what we're gonna do right now. So this lever on the side here just pops that open, and then there's your film inside there, and this is where your spool is going to go. So what I like to do is pull out a little extra. You can cut it. I don't know if this is visible. You can cut the film so it perfectly fits in this little slot, and that will grab onto the film and you can load it like that. I find that's kind of tedious, and I haven't had an issue with tape, so I just use tape. Pull off a little bit, a couple inches, something like that, and stick it just to the end of the film there, so it's flopping around. And then there's these little ridges on the film spool, and I like to line up the edge of the film with one of those ridges and then just kind of roll the tape around. And for me, from my perspective, I've never tried it the other way around, but I always load kind of the opposite from how you're watching this. So I always keep this knob on my left, and that way I make sure I know that it's loaded properly. If you wanted to load it the other way around, you'd keep it on your right, but for some reason I like to work with it this way. So I keep this guy on the left towards this little knob that locks everything in place, and that way you're winding your film on properly. Pop one into the canister off. These things come off real easy. I use the metal ones. I don't have any experience with the plastic canisters, unfortunately, so I can't speak to how good they work. But after your film is taped onto the spool, then it just slides into your canister like that. I just use this opening and slide the film through, and then the metal bobbin or the metal keeper just kind of slides on the end. Start on the far side from the opening and work your way around until it's on. I like to give it a few spins, and that seems to make sure that it's locked in place pretty well. Then you can load your canister into this portion of the loader. So you pull out a little more film, pull this knob out on the side, my left, your right, and that pops into the raised portion of the film spool, and then this handle is going to push into the other side, and you're ready to go. You want to make sure that your film lines up on these sprockets. This triggers the counter, which is running over here, and you want to make sure that it engages so you get a good count. This lid is going to pop closed now, and it's light tight again. So we can take this this gate and we can open it because we're going to start loading some film. On the side here is a winder, a counter I should say, and I like to line it up at 0 and then wind all the way back to 0. And that gives me 4 extra shots, so you're actually loading it to 40, and that's enough tail I found to get 36 shots out of it. So that's what we're going to do. It's at 0 now. I'm going to wind this thing around for 40 clicks. There we go. We're all loaded up. Close this gate again and pop our film open, and there we are. We're all loaded. So now we can pull this lever out and this lever out on the side, pull our canister out, tug a little more film, and cut this off. And I just go dead across for the first cut, like that. Close this up, set it aside, it's done. Now I have to cut a leader on our film, and I like to do a little bevel on this far edge, and then cut with my super safety scissors. And we cut a little circle, half circle there, down straight just a little bit, and then we will rotate out to the side here, and I try to make it so that the cut winds up in between two sprocket holes. You have to make this portion of the cut while you have to rotate through that portion of the cut while you're cutting. If you stop and turn and cut, you'll tear the film, and then it's a real bummer to use with a film retriever pulling it back out of the canister. Even this is a little rough. I'm not very good at it yet. There might be a way to clean that up, but I haven't bothered to look. It works okay just like this. I haven't had any trouble. And I'll cut off a little bit of our label tape. Stick that on the outside here, and we'll label it. This was Ilford Delta 400. And there you go. That's a cut ready to go spool of film there. Thanks for watching.